Guys, before we get started, let me just say this and make this very clear. By copying this design, you solemnly swear before the court of law and the FAA that you are a bold pilot. Alrighty, as promised, there's some construction noise going on over there. The guy's on the roof, but whatever. As promised, I'll be doing a review of my latest foot-launched powered hang gliding frame, and yeah. Introducing the brand used twin cylinder, single piston, 3-stroke, external combustion DLE 170, producing a walloping 100 pounds. Okay, fine, it's more like 82 or 80 pounds of thrust with I think this is a Bella. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it's a Bella. With a Bella counterclockwise puller prop. I call it the SMC Firefly. And SMC stands for scrap metal contraption. Made entirely out of Home Depot and Chinesium. And 23,000 Mach battery. I know, seems excessive. It actually did burn out my starter, which is not with us at the moment. And it's not because of the battery. It's because I let it run for like 45 seconds. Thought like, oh, any second now it's gonna catch and the motor will start, but no, it didn't. Wheels are with bearings on them. Like, they're just more rolly. I normally I ran this with rollerblades on just to see how it runs. And the engine is actually pretty powerful. I destroyed my old wheels that didn't have bearings. It completely like bore out the wheel. And even then, like, I only noticed that the wheel was destroyed when I got back. Like, when the motor was running, I did not notice it at all. Underneath the frame, aluminum, angled. It was a square too, but I cut it in half to make it like that. If it's angled, it's a lot more sturdy. It's much less likely to bend on you. And these things, that was a 10-inch shelf thing from Home Depot. Yeah. Another shelf from Home Depot. Let's see. And the reason why all of these are up as opposed to down is because of these hooks running down here, which I kind of wrapped it around here, but it's the retractors for the wires. And another thing I did for the little throttle is just tighten it down with one of these guys. So, steel cable, 2 little clamps, Velcro. I cut all these with that guy right there. And fuel tank. I know it's an old citrus salad thing, but it works. It works for now. That's where the fuel tank goes, right up here. And just strap it on. Switches. That would be off. That's on. To start it, you actually got to hit this twice. Otherwise, the thing won't stop. And you might burn out your starter, like I did. This little piece, bought it at Home Depot. Sorry, I don't know if the camera was focusing on it the whole time. Yeah, smoothed it out with the angle grinder. Gave it a little bit of space with the nuts. Then I don't know if you can see that. So that works. Coming back here, mounted the leg retractors with metal springs, just because I watched a video, I think it was of Johnny Davidson, who was spreading conspiracy theories that the cylinders actually get hot when the engine's running. So not wanting to take any risks, I went and got these metal ones. And also I'm using a sash chain, if you guys can tell right here on the bottom. The wheels kind of tend to pull the legs apart, so I needed to make sure that, you know, nothing bad happens. So I added this. Underneath here I have two angled aluminum pieces, followed by this is a zip tie on two sides. That's so I could wrap the Velcro around them so that the battery doesn't slide back and forth. Yeah, padding, so you know, doesn't damage the battery. The battery would just plug right into there. Hooks serve as a dual purpose, actually. This one is for these the leg retractors, and the other one is to actually hang it to the glider. Yeah, also this right here is temporary. That's just for when I'm going to be using it on rollerblades, because I have nowhere else to mount the tank, so that's what I did. And last but not least is the actual angling. That's the hardest part of this frame, is to get these guys to angle properly so that the legs could swing out and, you know, it could look like a Mosquito NRG, and I don't know. And what I came up with was this design. Screws down here, two cut out squares out of one of those pieces. Then I took one of these, cut it like right about half, and put it right in between that, and put two screws on it. And as you can tell, there's like a millimeter of space there. So even if they were to come loose, they can't actually unscrew because there's no room for them to unscrew. And also these nuts and washers, that's to provide space, because sometimes it's not quite right, so you just add a washer, take off a washer, and you could slide this this piece back and forth to your exact needed precision. Also, there's these guys right here. Move up and down in case if it's too high, if it's too low. You could take this square and I don't know if you can see it, but underneath it, right down there, is nuts and washers. You could adjust this too, up or down, depending on how you need it. There's I used a pretty long bolt there. That's by design. And also the third part is if you take the leg and you move it back and forth, you can kind of see that it kind of adjusts where the holes are aligned. And yeah, and it doesn't really matter what you do. There's like 3 holes, 1, 2, 3, and you will fiddle them, and pretty much any of these first 2, they will click. They will line up with the squares. And as for the squares, it's basically it's a pretty simple design. Just take a piece like this out of those. Take an angle grinder, cut out a square, then bore it out right here with something that looks like this. Make the hole just a little bit bigger, and then in the same piece, cut out this square right there and put it right inside of here, because if you do it without it, the bolt might just fall through, or it will be very, very shaky and unsafe. But if you do it like this, everything works. And that's what I have done on this guy here. And the reason why you need these squares is because if you look straight down at it, they don't align. They're kind of crooked, right? It's not straight. It kind of goes like that. So to bridge that gap, I took these squares, bolted them down on the bottom, and then just slightly tilted them. And yeah, now it works. And yeah, it is kind of heavy. But you know what? Like extra 5-6 pounds of steel is much better than hundreds of dollars of wasted tubes. So yeah, that's the SMC Firefly, and yeah, thank you for watching.
Fly.